Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of our lockdown sessions with Sabotage. Now, I got to be full disclosure. We got interrupted by a knock at my door. So we took like a 20-minute break here. And I thought I was doing so well because I said part 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
And it's not going to come off the same now, but I was talking about Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, all about breakdancing. And I said we need to tag Booker T in it because I was trying to explain breakdancing to the young Sabotage here, 20-year-old, about people bringing their cardboard to school. And I said, I was trying to explain it. The best way I can explain it to a wrestling fan is I'm like, the Spinneroonie from Booker T had to be, come from breakdancing. And I said, if we tag Booker T in this, because he'll never come on the show. He's big time. He's a big star. Then hopefully he sees this, and maybe he wants to be on the lockdown session. But maybe if we tag him in this, he could verify for me. Because now I really want to know, especially after we got interrupted. I'm thinking about this and thinking about this. I'm like, Booker T had to be a fan of Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, or he's just a fan of breakdancing.
Yeah.
Maybe we could shed some light. And all things that are old become new again, but we just haven't had, at least at my knowledge, breakdancing. Are you aware of any breakdancing in the last 20 years of your life?
I probably not.
It's called like street hip hop or something. Hip hop dancing.
I mean, people got some definitely some crazy dance moves for like the EDM music, I think. So maybe that's like, but that's like electronic stuff that it's not. I don't think it's no breakdancing.
Did you ever see Lethal Weapon, the TV series? I was watching it one day, and they have a silent disco. They have a DJ. I don't know if this is real. It's got to be real, though. And everybody's got their own headphones that it must be Wi-Fi'd in to whatever the DJ is playing, and they're all going nuts and dancing. But on the outside, you look at it, and it's the quiet, nothing's going on. But people have the music beating in their ears. And I was like, is that real? Is it not real? You're a young kid. Have you been to like a silent dance, a silent rave?
I have not. I have not. I'm not big on the I guess the raves, but yeah, I still have not.
Maybe they don't even call it a rave. I don't even know. Anyway, you've joined us here for some wrestling talk and have gotten zero wrestling talk for the first 5 minutes here. But Electric Boogaloo, that's always, if you say part 2, somebody my age is going to go Electric Boogaloo. So
right on.
Right. You've heard it here first. Someday, further down in your career, somebody's going to say, and you know what? You could test bets in the locker room. You're like, I'm here for part 2. And if somebody shouts out Electric Boogaloo, I want a text from you.
Yeah.
I want to thank you. And then Booker T, if Booker T ever were to see this on Twitter, he might go, hey, man, I've seen Breakin' and Breakin' 2.
Yeah. Go to Reality of Wrestling. See.
Yeah. I might just call up there and just go, hey, listen, I'm not asking you to be on the interview show, but I just want to know, have you seen a Breakin' and Breakin' 2? And before I even get the 2 out, Booker's going to go Electric Boogaloo.
There you go.
That's my dream. Some people have big dreams and aspirations.
Yeah.
Of making it big in this world. I want to know if Booker T has seen the Breakin'.
Yeah.
And I get, you know what? I'm gonna Wikipedia this stuff, and somebody is gonna come back and they're gonna be like, dude, we're making Breakin' 3, or they're just doing a total reboot. It's gonna be awesome.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna be your agent. I'm gonna try to get you a role in there. I'm gonna you gotta start carrying cardboard wherever you go and work on the robot.
Yeah.
And we need, Sabotage is a pretty good name, but we need something more.
More disco-ly.
Yeah, Sabotage is too tough for a break-in.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Turbo and Ozone, and they had the girl. Gosh, the girl was, I think she's probably, you know how old this movie is? I think she was a dancer that wore like the leotard on the outside of her yoga pants and leg warmers.
Okay.
Each their own. Maybe that's in style again, but I haven't seen that in a long time.
No, yeah, that's 80s.
The last time I actually saw that, Snoopy was wearing that in a cartoon called Flash Beagle, based off of Flash. Dude, we're so we got interrupted, and now my train of thought is. But we're glad to have you back.
Absolutely.
We got to talk about Back to the Future, another movie. No, we don't. We're gonna say we recorded part 1 prior to the Survivor Series with the Undertaker's final farewell. And I said, we got to have you back on afterwards because you're huge.
Yeah.
Undertaker's have a lot of
Yeah.
big fan growing up, still a big fan. What did you think of that final farewell? And I know I was on a podcast.
Yeah.
And I got nitpicky, but I just want to hear your opinions on the final farewell. And you know what? Full disclosure, we've asked and answered this question like 20 minutes ago, so it's going to be tough to try to redo. But
no, yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, I mean, I think that the nitpicky stuff you mentioned could have been a little bit cleaner, you know. But like, I mean, if you want a performance in front of a crowd, you know, I know someone on your show was saying maybe he does another one when there's a whole crowd again, and then he comes out again. Maybe, you know, I think that could work as well. I almost don't see him ever being done with it, you know, like but I just don't see how there's not a role for him to be backstage or, you know, it seems like he just loves performing at the end of the day, you know, that's what he's in. So maybe it's good for him to take a break and just relax finally, you know, but the whole farewell thing I thought was very cool. Not a whole lot of wrestlers get, you know, farewells. I know HBK and I remember Ric Flair was getting their farewell. When I was watching, and you know, I think it's just awesome that he still got the farewell. So I think you just gotta enjoy that. And I know, like, when I started watching wrestling in 2007, that he was my guy, and you know, I'm 20 now, so you know, to say 13 years that's of my life, that's all I really knew, you know, until now. You know, he's finally done. So now it's just time to, you know, see the new chapter, you know, and. But I think the whole thing was very simple. The promo was simple. The farewell was just short and sweet. And I think you he's got to enjoy the farewell, I guess. You know, he did all his gimmicks, you know, the whole throat, you know, the Paul Bear, the eyes, you know, he does the arm thing, does everything. So I think it fit nice, short and sweet, you know. I think it was good. So I think it's a good way to end the show. And I think that's all it kind of needed. I know there's a couple little things, but, you know, at the end of the day, he's got to enjoy that he's being able to go out there and saying farewell, you know, so.
Yeah, and even my nitpicky things, you know, I try to think of how they would have done it better.
Yeah.
Things I was really nitpicky on the crowd noise.
Yeah.
Being pumped in. All the stuff that he would have got and more had there been a live crowd. Like, I really think he gets a little bit of the short end of the stick because not being able to do this in front of a live crowd. Because you mentioned last week, it's 30 years exactly from his debut at Survivor Series. Like, when did the stars ever align like this? And he kind of gets screwed by COVID. But the pumped in crowd noise, not just on the Undertaker stuff, but on almost everything, drives me insane.
Well, I thought about that before because I'm like, is the fans actually like doing that? You know, because they react like when there's a move, they react, you know, very similar. I'm like, okay, but then again, it's like you can't really pump. I wonder if you could actually pump their audio from home, you know, and you're probably not pumping that audio from home because, you know, you get some kid yelling something that's not appropriate. So it probably
that's the thing. That's my thought. They already have trouble enough containing people not holding up a sign or wearing a shirt that says something anti, because the trolls are out there for everything, and it's just.
I thought they should have at least, you know, had the, even though it was cool, dark, eerie, like Undertaker, I thought they should have at least had the screens on for the fans, you know. I thought that would have been good. Still to see that there's fans there that he's saying farewell. You guys saw their reactions, you know, whatever. But I thought that's what I was like, dude, they should at least put the TVs on for it to be, at least he's talking to a crowd, but what are you going to do?
The other thing that, and I haven't gone back and rewatched it, so if people want to at me or yell at me about this, the one thing that I remember feeling as this was going on was I felt like it was a very slow, methodical speech. Like, I felt like, and now obviously I know they're waiting to line up the Paul Bearer thing, but is he speaking slow buying time where it just couldn't be a natural Undertaker type of promo. That's the only thing I felt watching. I'll have to rewatch it and see.
Yeah, it was very choreographed. I mean, it was because the camera angles aligned with everything, and it was it was a cool moment, I guess. But yeah, no, I see what you mean there.
Yeah, no, there's no way that we're gonna tag the Undertaker in this, and I'm gonna be ripping the heck out of it. There's no way because the man's a legend. No matter what, he's done everything. If his body holds up, the guy would keep doing it because he's all about the business, and I gotta respect the old school attitude and everything about it. The people that came out, now there's a lot of stuff on Twitter now, like who's the one that told Kane to come out in full gear? Because the other thing that came up when we were talking on the podcast is in this world of COVID, we've got all those legends in there not wearing masks, not social distancing. And then I gotta wonder, with Glenn Jacobs being the mayor of Knoxville County, does he take a bunch of political heat for being in the same ring? He did kind of stay away,
Yeah, I would hope that I assume they all got tested before entering the building. That's my thought on it. I can't imagine them not testing everyone and there could have been a guy that, got tested and they didn't let him in, that because there might have been another member of that club or something, So
who is, if everybody in the past was, if nobody had passed away, everybody's alive, we're in a perfect world, who do you think was missing from that group that you would have liked to see out there as a tribute to the Undertaker? Can you think of anybody? I can't really. Maybe Kamala, everybody said, because he sold everything really well.
I thought a guy that's actually alive. I thought Edge. Should have been there. They had a great rivalry. I thought that was a big one. Paul Bear, obviously. But I guess Yokozuna could have been there. That would have been great. Man, anyone else that I could think of? Not really off the top of my head.
I'm going to go with Maven. Were you? Remember when Maven was a rookie and got in and all of a sudden he's face-to-face? I don't know how that angle worked out, how it ended up that he was going to face The Undertaker. But Teddy Long. Leia, you're going one-on-one with The Undertaker. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So, and here's the other thing. I didn't want to see the big hose that they had pumping in the fog. Like, you're WWE.
Yeah.
Put that hose somewhere else or run it underneath so you're not seeing it. I mean, I always like to suspend my disbelief, I believe is the way you say it. But overall, man. And the other thing I thought of, we're talking about his legacy and him being around the sport forever. And one of the things I said on our live weekly podcast was, maybe there's room for him to do something, like, even if he can't wrestle and doesn't want to do a cinematic match, like, how cool would it be? Because we talked about Shawn Michaels being Mr. WrestleMania when, in fact, it's The Undertaker in the streak. But what if he had, The Undertaker match, like some big rivalry every year at WrestleMania, and he decided it was going to be a casket match, or this was going to be a Hell in a Cell, or some type of.
Actually, I didn't hear that part of your show. If you mentioned that, that's actually a really cool idea. Because even like the Andre Battle memorable Battle Royal.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, I couldn't say that right. But I mean, he's got something. I know they had the Dusty Rhodes Classic too, an NXT Tag Team Classic. So there's no reason why you can't do something like that. And it's even a gimmick match, a casket, like you said. That'd be awesome.
Could you imagine that first time that we're on the lead up to WrestleMania? We know we have fans, and he's retired. They put him in the Hall of Fame or whatever. And now a year later, you hear the dong.
Yeah.
The fans would go nuts. So half of them would start already to be pissed, like, what the hell? I thought he's retired. But if he came out and like, hey, there's no way to resolve this, and we're going to put you. And he's like the like a Mr. T special enforcer. I don't know how it would work out, but it would just be cool to have him. And you don't even have to do it every year, so you expect it.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to have the Undertaker casket match or have him. Because, you know, we got Dusty Rhodes, tag team, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Take notes, kid. That's how you say it. But, you know, they passed away, but somebody as legendary as The Undertaker. My question that I asked on the podcast was, now, The Undertaker, a legend, he's going to live, but does he, by having the streak, by getting lucky and realizing at some point that he is undefeated in WrestleMania and they start hyping the streak, is he as popular and is he this big figure that he is right now without that streak?
I don't think so, because I don't know if he'd even be around as long, because, you know, think about it like this, like he was just coming, like at the end, you know, last 5 years, he was just really coming to do that one match a year at WrestleMania, you know, and it meant something because it's like, oh, he's still got to defend that streak, you know, and so that's why I think that streak's awesome. It's like, it's just stuff that's in sports history. That's like, you know, the best undefeated streak, you know, is, you know, old school Lakers have the 33-0, you know, Miami Dolphins have 16-0 WrestleMania, not Super Bowl. And I think it's just a cool thing that's like, that'll probably be on history. I mean, when you think of Undertaker, I feel like you don't think of that right off the gate, but for the super fans, I think that's just something that makes him more special. And I think that's what honestly kept him for this 30-year career. Because it puts him in a spot where he's like, I only have to wrestle once a year, you know? So this is how I can't wrestle every Monday night, you know? So it honestly, I think saves his career. And that's why I don't think a whole lot of guys will have another 30-year career like him, you know? It's something that the streak won't happen probably ever again. And I was hearing him the other day talk about it, because, you know, that's something you don't just book. You don't just book, oh, this guy's gonna be undefeated for the next 15 years. You don't even know the guy's, you know, credentials is awesome enough for being having that longevity to keep wrestling that long. So the fact that I swear there was a WrestleMania 7 where he beat Kane, where someone said 7-0, but he says that the first time anyone noticed was Ric Flair, WrestleMania, when he won his 10th one, and then he did the gimmick where he's got 10 on his fingers, counting it out, and then they're like, hey, we got something here. So then it became a gimmick, you know. But yeah, I just don't think it's something that'll ever happen again. There's no way.
The streak might not happen again, but I'll give you a name of somebody who could probably have a 30-year career in pro wrestling. Somebody who's 20 years old and has already been wrestling for a while. I mean, dude, you're a baby. You got, you know, if the health stays with you and stuff, man.
I suppose it could. I mean, what would you? I guess I'd have to be. I started wrestling when I was 16, so. Would that be 46? Yeah, I guess I can make it to 46, hopefully.
You got to make it to my age, and then pretty soon you'll be that guy babbling about stuff like Electric Boogaloo that people will be like, I have no idea what is this guy talking about?
Someday that will happen.
To be in the locker room going, hey, Sabotage wants us to go to a silent disco. What is up with that guy, you know? So we're gonna leave The Undertaker for a little bit, because I don't want people to think this is a fan review. We're talking to professional wrestler, Sabotage. Now we go off on a tangent, as look at we just did, but I wanted to talk about, you trained in St. Louis with the legendary Harley race. You also trained at the Black and Brave camp under Seth Rollins. Now I knew that you explained in part 1, and I'm not going to explain everything, because I want people to go back and listen to part 1 or watch part 1. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel, check it out. Now, how did you make that? What I didn't get to ask you, because we ran out of time. You trained with Harley. Now, what happens? You're there living with your grandparents. How do you get back up to Iowa now, and you're training with Merrick Brave, Seth Rollins, etc.?
Yeah. So, you know, I was kind of, I think I was mentioning how instead of going to college, I had to go to pro wrestling school. That was the dream. I have to do this. It's not like I'm not going to college and don't have any plans. It's not like I'm just, oh, I'm gonna go work at, McDonald's after this. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not my goals. And so I didn't just say, hey, I'm gonna be a wrestler. And my parents, thankfully, backed me up on the whole idea, and they, got me signed up for Harley Race Wrestling Academy and Black and Brave Wrestling Academy. So I live in middle of Illinois, and so my grandparents are up in St. Louis. So I'm like, this is gonna be perfect. Harley Race, get to be there. It's 3-month class I did, and so that really right out of high school. It was probably a month after high school. I went straight there and started living with my grandparents, training there. I got the Gold's Gym membership, but at the time I wasn't dedicated to lifting like I am now, and so I didn't use it to its max like I should have. But so I was training there, and training there was very the difference, I'd say, because I kind of want to explain this as well with the two trainings, and it's who your trainer is. Obviously, you got Harley Race, and it's legitimately old school, and you got Seth Rollins, and it's legitimately new school. And of that being said, so like I started training, and I remember going in and just being ready for the day and whatever, and the gym equipment there. They got this old wrestling ring, but still good. It's a good wrestling ring. And you look in the back, and so they had experience, and they had us, which weren't experienced, and so they'd split the classes. So they'd be like, experience in the ring for an hour, we go work out, and we're like, okay. And you get this gym equipment, man, and it's just pieced together stuff from like probably the 80s, 90s, and I'm just like, what the heck? Like, what kind of machine is this? You got these like all these weights that don't go together, like just different colors. Like, this ain't from all one set. So old school, just equipment we used. Even the conditioning, we conditioned, and that was some cool conditioning because he talked about like, I want to say one was like some Japanese like core training, abdominal training, and we were just in the ring for like 30 minutes doing abs, and it's just like, what kind of craziness is this? And then the other thing, I remember we get a tire and flip it across. They got this, lot. We flip that tire across the lot. We take the sledgehammer, hit the tire, and like that was made sure we did conditioning a lot too. But with Rollins school, so I already signed up because you got to sign up like year advance to see if you even get accepted. So I got accepted to that. And so that's why I only did 3 months of Harley's, because I was like, I'm already accepted. I can't do both. I could do both, but I can't do long term, both. So I finished my course at Harley's. Then I went up to Iowa, lived there. Rollins actually has housing for us. So that's, you pay, for the housing still, but he owns the house that we stay at. And that's with their training. Seth Rollins is really into CrossFit. I think it's really great. At the end of the day, you'll get your big bodybuilder guys that hate on it. But I think for professional wrestling, and I was thinking about this the other day too, but for professional wrestling nowadays, I think the conditioning for being in that ring for 20 plus minutes, that CrossFit is really beneficial for the guys nowadays. And that's the thing with the training. We do CrossFit WODs, and they're these like circuits that just kill you. Like these, and this is way different to the training I was doing at Harley's. So I feel like at Harley's I was doing this old school bodybuilder type stuff, which you think of the 80s, let's say all these guys are bodybuilder guys with, a little bit shorter matches, I would say. And then you go nowadays, these guys are going 30 minutes and they're not gassed, and we're doing this CrossFit training. So it really was like two different worlds, two different generations that I was able to live. And now the Harley's training, the in-ring training prepared me for the in-ring training at Rollins school. Like that was both very similar. But the conditioning at Harley's did not prepare me for the conditioning at Black and Brave. They killed us there very intense. And so that's kind of a big difference, the two schools. I will say that Rollins School has open ring sessions. So let's say Harley's, you go there, you learn the move. And let's say if I were to learn the move, my classmate doesn't learn it, then, we're a team, we got to stick to this together, learn one by one, but let's say I learned hip toss earlier. My buddy doesn't learn hip toss yet. We still got to work on that the next day. But still, we're in together. We're grinding together. It's great stuff. But Black and Brave was able to let us, have open ring sessions. So they kind of up the beat a little bit. So you do your CrossFit 3 days a week, and let's say we learn hip toss. Bam. My buddy didn't get it. Well, here's the deal. We're not going to be here, but you learned the move. You learned the idea of the move. So by next practice, you're going to have open ring session from noon till I think, let's say 6 o'clock before practice starts. If you don't get that hip toss in and figure it out by that time, then that's your own fault. So luckily, Harley's prepared me for all those moves, so I didn't have to really, even though I still came in to open sessions to help my classmates out, I was able to get a head start on doing these, let's say, taking a hip toss. I was able to do that, first couple of tries. Now saying that, I'm going to take an awful hip toss one day, and someone was going to watch it and say, hey, he doesn't know his stuff. But so I'll be able to do that. And even if I didn't know the hip toss, I was able to come back from 5 hours before practice started and be able to work on that stuff. So that open ring session really helped a lot of guys out. I know at the end of our class, only 4 guys graduated of the Black and Brave, and we had 12 to start. So it helped the guys out at the time, but a lot of guys did drop like flies. So that's the thing. Very intense training. And if you quit, they don't care. They got, the money's already, you already invested the money in it. That's why I'm just like, all these guys dropping out. I'm like, dude, you paid, like, you have to like finish. Like, but not a lot of people have heart, man. And that's just training, Then it takes a whole nother level to become a professional wrestler and grind all these shows, grind just setting up, making no money, losing money, spending money just to go in the gas tank just to shake hands and make a contact. And it's just, if you can't get the training part done, you'll never get it done. And the second part, so that was kind of the big difference of the two trainings. I know I kind of went on there, but
no, it's great because I love hearing people talk about this because I'm obviously older school. So I love the fact that you got to train old school and you got to train with, at the Black and Brave camp, learning new school. And you hit the nail on the head. And it's the same thing that happened back in my day. People pay for the training and then drop out. And I could never see paying that money and not being able to finish, even if I was a poor finisher. Like, you had to have that edge. But what happens is, here's the problem. A lot of people don't realize professional wrestling, one of the first things that Brad Kohler told me, UFC Brad Kohler, 1997, is I've had Olympic athletes flunk out of this, that they can't get it because it's a total different mindset. You watch it on TV, on your couch with your buddies, and you think you know one thing, and then you go in and it's totally different. After my first training session, Eddie says, go back and watch Nitro and Raw before you come in next. And now you're like, wow, I see this totally different. But nowadays we have a problem. And I think it's always been a problem. I know you've been on shows, and I've been on shows too, with Joe Schmo was trained by Joe Schmo Sr. or wasn't trained at all. I've met plenty, and I've interviewed them on lockdown, people that were backyard wrestlers, but then realized I need to train, and then have gone on to train with accredited trainers. When they had the big speaking out movement, and because wrestling travels from the United Kingdom, everybody from Wrestling Travel right now is rolling their eyes because I always say this. Used to be back in my day, son, I would say protect the business, and protecting the business meant we're doing a little wink, wink, little magic show. I want to protect the business from the average fan. Now I
Yeah.
say protect the business because I know you've seen this. You've been on a show. Nobody shakes your hand in the back of the locker room. They're not wiping their feet before they go in the ring. Just doing things that's oddball if you're in, and then you watch them wrestle and you're like, holy shit, that guy almost broke his neck by like 6 inches. Or that guy's doing stuff that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I was in the ring one time and somebody's trying to lock up right-handed with me. Or somebody, here's my right arm. I'm going to hook the suplex in.
Yeah.
Oh, but we have too many of the, because right now in my state of Wisconsin, I could be a wrestling promoter tomorrow because I don't have to be licensed and all I have to do is buy a ring.
Okay.
That sucks. Now, if I ever did that, I would follow everything I've known and try to learn. But what people can just run the ring. It was $5,000 to train when I trained. Now people are like, hey, I trained under Bill Johnson. I can train you for $300, kid. How much training are you going to get for $300 from a guy that runs a show at a bar every other week? You come, and if you come here early enough, kid, we'll get your training in, and then you just take a bump, and then hey, pretty soon, nobody showed. Let's get you in the ring, dude.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. And
Yeah.
now there's nobody. The one thing that Eddie Sharkey told me, asked me after training was going on for so long, like, what are your thoughts? And I said, I cannot believe how respectful and nice everybody is. I was playing college football at the time, and you walked in and the seniors hazed you, bullied you, and you just stuck around and you went, fuck, but you got to deal with it. And Eddie says, this is the level where we weed out the assholes. Because if you and I are in the ring together, once I lock up with you, if I pick you up for a body slam, your livelihood is in my hands.
Yeah.
Food, your future, everything. You want to weed out the egotist. And I know we've talked off camera. You've been in the ring where you're like, hey, dude, stop cranking on my legs so hard. Stop doing that. But I think that's where we got a problem. That's where I think recently just something on Twitter today over in the UK about people hiring somebody that's on the speaking out movement. That's where I think we need to stay strong. This is you thought you were long-winded, buddy. This is where I am, because we still have, you want to go out and work, you want to get on the show, but there's a difference between a guy like you that's gone through 2 accredited training camps, plus I know still works to learn, and now you get invited on these outlaw shows, and it's like, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
I want to go there. I want to make a little money. I can work with a couple different people, but we need to band together. Not everybody should be able to run a show. That's my 2 cents worth. I mean, I don't know how much. You got to be finding it.
Yeah, it's like sometimes and some great guys that I'm friends with that really are dedicated in this, sometimes I ask them how they view. And sometimes some of them just say, don't go to the show. And I feel like that's just never the answer, I feel like you always should try, in my opinion, you should always try getting a show once a week. My goal would love to get, 4+ shows a week, but that's tough sometimes, but you could find them. There's websites. You could look on Facebook, find every promotion out there, see their events, it's just an excuse not going to them, but, sometimes it could be right, sometimes you, just it's what, like, I think of it as like, hey, this guy has a ring, they have an opponent, they have a place for me to work and hone my craft, not crafts, not crap. And so it's just like, you gotta look at that being said, like, do you take the chance every chance you get? And some fans, they're not diehard wrestling fans. They're just, guys that are just there to buy a ticket, see the local event. And you got to ask yourself, can I sell a t-shirt today, and can I have a good performance with this guy that I don't even know for 5 minutes, or they're going to give us 30 minutes because the booker doesn't know about putting time on matches. So it's just like, sometimes you do have to ask yourself if it's worth it. But I've seen too many guys in this business that start getting reputation. Like, I still think doing matches for free, like, sometimes it's beneficial because, like, it's just like you have to get, like, you got to just keep grinding and keep doing everything you can, especially in these tough times. But, like, I've seen too many guys where they just, like, start building a name for themselves, and then they have a price, and if no one, they, like, if no one wants to pay them that money, then they're like, okay, well, we're not going to wrestle this weekend. I know a team that has I know right now, there's a team right now that we're doing great. You know, they're having great matches, getting matches with great names. And, you know, I thought they were in it for the long term. You know, I thought they were in it for the grind, you know. And now they have a budget, and they're like, well, if we're not going to have a budget, we're just going to stay home and relax on our weekend. And it's like, no. And those same guys haven't had a match this entire quarantine. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, the passion is tough. It's something that you got to just find it and keep it up. And, you know, like, I used to think of just having this competitor's mindset of just like, I want to be the best. I want to be better than everyone. This is mine. And nowadays, I'm like, I want to have buddies that want to do the same exact thing as me, because those are the guys that also drive those 6 hours with you. Those are the guys that also split the time, you know, and the drive with you. Those are the guys you'll learn from. Those are the guys that'll motivate you when you're like, dude, what am I doing? Like, I'm nowhere right now. We're driving to a show somewhere and it's just not worth it, you know, and we didn't get paid. But then you got to have those guys that, you know, keep you positive all the time. And that's what's tough now. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I don't want to be with anyone. I'm sitting here trying to find someone that is always going to be, you know, there to help you out, you know, and it's tough finding those. There's a couple of them out there that will always grind and stay grinding with you, but not at the end of the day, not everyone's going to have the same ideal mindset as yourself. So that's where I'm at, you know, like, at the end of the day, I have myself. I know what I want. So that's the mindset. You got to just always know what you want. And I hate saying it, but sometimes you do have to be a little selfish in this business. And it's like, or even just in life, you know, I think it's okay to be a little selfish, you know, because you have to have your goals, you know, and you have to do your thing first. You come first before anyone else. And that's with anyone in the world, you know. So I just think at the end of the day, you know, I really don't know where I'm going with this, but at the end of the day,
I can jump in here anytime, so keep going.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, like, you just gotta just trust yourself, man. And no one else is gonna help you out besides yourself. No one else is gonna do the work besides yourself. So just always stay in here, man. Always talk to yourself and just be with yourself, man. Because it's just like one day you start relying on people and you think they're in it, and then they're not, you know. And so that's where I'm thankful there's a couple of guys out there right now that, you know, I'm with that will always be by my side, I think. But just make sure you're always with yourself first. That's my piece.
Right, and that's what I was going to say as you were saying that, is just a lot of places in life, who else is looking out for you?
Yeah.
Who's got your back better than you? You're going to find in life that your family is going to have your back. A few friends will and stuff. But, you know, the difference between my generation and your generation is, and this is, you know, up for debate, but I used to get hey, how much am I getting paid? Paid? Dude, we're giving you this opportunity to perfect your craft.
Yeah.
You're going to be in front of fans. I didn't even so much as get like a free hot dog on some shows. But
hot dog in the hand.
Yeah, where I can see the difference now is you guys have these things.
Yeah.
Where you can just go, okay, now I can get myself out on YouTube. I can get on my fan page or whatever. At least I have a documented account of my work. This went really well. I saw last weekend at Mayhem for Mason, you guys had a couple really cool spots. You and Robbie J, the Renegade, that got picked up by people on social media, and I was very happy to see that. But The other thing that you'll hear from these independent veterans too, as you started talking about, hey, I'm going to get on, I'm going to do my work, and I'm going to focus on being the best that I can be, is I'll hear some things and it kind of rubs me the wrong way when they're like, yeah, but did you make any money? And it's like,
Yeah.
bro, we've all been there where you're not making any money, but at least you're taking whatever are you going to sit at home?
Yeah.
You can't. You got to grind.
Yeah, it's like, because I think The Rock said it too, and I loved it, because I did a promo about it one time, and like, legitimately, so like, we all have our shoot jobs, our work, our real life 9 to 5 jobs, and if you're lucky enough to make it in this business, that becomes your job, and you do what you love, right? But don't work. The Rock said, don't spend your life working for a 9 to 5 job and not go home and work on your dreams. And it's like, okay, I'm saving money up. Thankful I have a family that has a business for me to work at. And if I have a show that day, I get to take off. Very thankful that I have the opportunity, the shoes I'm in now, very thankful. And so if I have a show on a Saturday, I'll be able to take off that Saturday, go wrestle. If I'm not making money, I'm not making money. But if it's an opportunity that's going to benefit me and my career, then, at the end of the day, and even if it's like the show we did the other day, like, talking to you, being able to have the opportunity, like, let's say I didn't have a match, okay? Let's say I didn't even have a match, but I did. And at the end of the day, I was able to do a dive, never did a dive in my career, whatever, I'm not a high flyer, but, you got to just keep learning, and I want to become an all-around wrestler, I say guys like AJ Styles, is phenomenal. No pun intended, but it's just, you got to learn. You got to take every opportunity you get and learn. So, let's say that, for example, I took the opportunity, I did a dive, and hey, now I did it. Now I can perfect that stuff, Hey, let's say I didn't even have a match. I went to that show, got contacts, So even if I'm not making money, if I make one contact or one something, you go there, and it doesn't matter if you're going to wrestle or not. If you're going to go there, set up a ring, and then you get to contact the promoter, the work, hey, this is my information, hey, you could be on next time, blah, blah, blah. It's not about, you're not here to make money at first. If anyone thought they're going to make money right off the get-go in this business and they gave up because they're not making money, then that's insane. Because why would you, and this isn't just for professional wrestling, this is with every craft, with every person who has a dream, that you have to legitimately start from the bottom. There's very few cases, you got your foot in the door because you know someone or something, but very few cases of that. But everyone has to start from the bottom. And, for me, example, I personally don't think, I'm not the best in the world at promos. I'm not the best in the ring yet. I'm not the best in shape yet, but the goal is to get to that, right? And I'm not the most God-given talent, there's people out there that I see talent every day wasted because they don't have this mindset and that motivation to get them. So if I don't have all that, what do I have to give? Well, I have to work harder than everyone else possible. So that's my take. If you don't have, you just got to do that one thing. And there will always be someone, okay, I did hear The Rock say, and he said one time that's crap, but, the saying is there will always be someone working harder than you. But The Rock says that he's like, I'm the hardest. No one's working harder than me, period, and he may be right about that, so, but Rick, I just think, just if you have that mindset, man, it changes a lot.
I think from knowing you and hearing you talk that you go to a show, you might not be making money that day, Sabotage, but you're making that money and that investment in yourself in the future. It's just, there's a lot of outlaw promoters out there that you got to determine, is this worth risking my reputation or my, talking about locking up with somebody that locks up with you the wrong way. Yeah. And it's like, dude, is this going to be worth this? This guy's going to hurt. I've taken an elbow
Yeah.
point blank into the side of my rib cage before from the promoter decided that this guy's going to be on the show. This is his buddy. And it's tough because sometimes you got to make those difficult calls. I'm here, I'm doing everything, but man, I always ask everybody who broke you in because I want to know. And
Yeah.
sometimes, man, is it disappointing in the answer because I'm like, there's a couple lockdown sessions that I know Danny's watching this and will know. There's a few lockdown sessions that haven't made air.
Yeah.
Because people have contacted me, and of course, I do these to try to help people out. And as I'm questioning these guys, because I don't know them, and I want to talk wrestling. I want to find out. I'm like, dude, I am not sure that this guy is a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
I think this guy's a cosplay.
Absolutely. It's not.
Or I've interviewed people that are young in their career, and you apologize for being a long-winded answer, and I'm like, never apologize, because this is all about you, and I want to hear your thoughts. But I get people that'll answer a question with like a one-worder, and I'm like, dude, if I put that out there, you're gonna look stupid.
Yeah.
You're gonna look really bad. So,
and your question with the guy that says, "Are you making money?" I just kind of want to put this in the idea because it makes me think of the question of people giving you crap for being a paper champion, let's say, and there's circumstances, let's say the best way to put it is if it's a promotion you respect, I think, because there's promotions that are great and there's promotions that aren't great. And if you're a champion, I think sometimes being a champion at some of those lower promotions just hold you back. But let's say it's a place you respect, and some guy, I know I've seen it before where a guy says, "You're just a paper champion." And I think yes, for the storytelling, yes, you're a paper champion, but you're the one who worked to get there, And that just reminds me of the guy that will say, "Hey, did you make any money?" You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm a paper champion, but hey, I'm also the one who deserved it because I worked hard in the ring. And that's just the aspect of professional wrestling being so different than anything else. But it's still like you're still working harder than anyone else to be that champion. So I just think it's not the same as a normal, not the same as a normal Super Bowl win, but it's still, you have to work hard and get the and there's places that, like I was saying, the lower where the person owns the company and they become the champion, and it's like what the heck, man. That's pretty much, it's just it's all over the place too. So it's just, and those are the promotions, do I go there? Does it benefit me? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So you take what you get, and sometimes you just gotta enjoy it. Sometimes a buddy tells me sometimes you just got to eat a crap sandwich because sometimes that's how it is. So
that's true. And in my old school ways, even if you're wrestling for Joe Schmo's local promotion down at the Five and Dime or whatever it is, if you're not, if Sabotage, your brand, is not chomping at the bit to be the champion of that federation while he's in there, treating that belt with respect and like, man, who am I as a fan to go, oh, what the hell? He doesn't seem to care about this championship. So you need to sell that. And we were talking off air. We talked off. The bad thing about this is we couldn't air. We talked before we started recording for probably 2 hours. And one thing I wanted to show you was from being up at the media day in 2019 in Toronto. I showed you because I was talking about your trainer, Seth Rollins, and talking about, man, his wife, what a badass she is. And I showed you a promo that she cut for Sky Sports where they're asking her about Sasha Banks. And she freaking teed off on Sasha Banks. Not on camera, but we're waiting to interview her at a table, and Kofi's the champion. He's behind us, and she's going, they're asking about, somebody was asking something about the championships, and she goes, BS. Kofi should be coming to me for my championship because my championship's the most important one in the WWE. And that's why I miss her so much, because it was like, she's a new school wrestler with that old school. At least the promos were. off the chain, and obviously she could perform. But where was I going with that? I don't know.
Hey,
But
it needs to be said though.
it does, because I love the promo. The promos need to be, and you need to have, even if you're running an independent wrestling promotion at Bob's Bar next Saturday, everybody that's on that show should be giving a promo on social media going, November 22nd, I'm going to be at Bob's Bar, and I don't know who I'm taking on, but when I get there, they're going to be scared of me because I'm the slasher or whatever, or some type of that. And then I also think if you're going to be on a poster, you got to put your name on there. You guys aren't, who is that?
Yeah.
And that's been an argument recently on my Facebook, and I don't get involved with because there's no sense arguing on social media, but I agree.
Yeah.
How many posters have you seen for an independent wrestling show down at Bob's Bar, and they got all these guys, and then maybe their name that they brought in, which will segue into my next question, has the name of former WWE star, whoever. But man, put your brand, put your name on that. I want to know, because here's the thing. Full disclosure: if they put you on a poster, you and Robbie J, you guys got the long hair, the good look. There's got to be women and girls in that crowd are like, ooh, those guys are cute. Put their names on there. They can start following your social media. And now next time you travel somewhere, I'm going to be a fan of Sabotage and the Renegade and Collateral Damage. I want to check them out. It helps sell you that ticket for the next week. You got to push your brand more than anybody else. And I realize that a lot of wrestlers watching this are going, yeah, dude, we know all this.
Yeah.
But a lot of them don't practice it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I'm here to say that I can always work harder at that, I'm not saying I do that already to the best, I could always be better, and I think that's just something that doing that, you're promoting yourself, so like I think every wrestler should know that they could be better at that. And some of them are doing phenomenal, but it's just, I mean, I'm not here to say that I'm doing that at the finest point, but yes, I mean, that you could definitely always promote yourself, be better, even at its lowest point, you're not even cutting a promo and posting on social media. You could always be able to do that, we're professional wrestlers. We should always be able to cut a promo at any time. You should be able to ask me right now, hey, cut a promo, and I should be flip a switch, go, but like, it's crazy that sometimes it just gets lost in new generations, and it's just one of those deals.
And if I had you booked for my show next week, whatever, let's say, a month in advance, I've got you booked, I shouldn't have to ask you for a promo, really.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And then putting your name on the poster, sometimes you're going to run into a promoter that's just not going to do it. So what do? You just, all right, well, I asked.
Yeah.
Get my name out there. I'm going to be on your show. This is what part of my booking deal. Just put my name, put Collateral Damage, me and Robbie J, and it's just little things like that. And if you can't cut a promo yet, or you start, that's where you got to start looking in the mirror, start cutting promos. And dude, I'm sitting here talking like I'm chief shit in the woods, and I know.
No, I mean,
but I'm just saying that
I could always still be practicing promos, because I know my promos aren't. Robbie in our group is the better of the promo. We have our gimmick. Robbie, it's like if you want to look at like Paul Heyman or Paul Bear and Undertaker. Undertaker's this deep voice, slow, doesn't say much, and you got Paul Bear. Oh yeah, doing everything, making that whole thing go, and then you end it off with Taker. That's how me and Robbie are right now, and I think it's how you have to do it as a tag team, the yin and yang, and like I'm slow, saying goofy stuff, Sabotage, and Renegade's there to talk business, and Renegade, maybe way more talented at the promos than me, because he could probably do it all if he wanted to. But as a tag team, you got to find your niche, and that's kind of the gimmick there.
Right, and I do have to send you, because we talked at the show a couple weeks ago. I have your promos that I shot in October of 2019, and I remember, I had just met you, but I'm like, Robbie can talk, and I'm like, well, Sabotage is here. Let's get him on camera. And I'm like, oh, geez. And I think it was nerves and everything. It's the wrestling travel, but there's a lot of, like, you have improved and you guys have improved in the ring, which is awesome. But like I said, I'm not sitting here on top of the mountain because I think you always are learning. But the cool thing is, if you are a aspiring wrestler at home, a young professional, you're getting booked on shows and you realize, holy crap, my promos suck, because I'm like, I gotta read it and I will be there. Dude, we've got these things right here. Type it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
get
mean,
it up.
dude,
Tag the promotion in there.
you could take so many takes on your phone and no one's gonna know, you know? And that's the beauty of it, you know? It's not live and you get to post on social media and stuff. And that's something I you know, personally I should even do more, you know? And it's just for the love of it, you know? Because there's not a whole lot of companies or indies out there that will give you the time, you know, and when the time comes, you know, that, hey, we're gonna have you cut a promo, start the game. It's like, whoa, me? And I mean, this happened, you know, a few months ago. Me, Robbie, you know, we're coming and, hey, start of the show, your kind of promo. Whoa, Robbie, we ready for? And yeah, we're ready for this, you know, and we do our thing, you know. But the thing is, you know, not a whole lot of promotions are doing it. So be ready for the time when the time comes, because hey, they might be, hey, you gotta cut this, and if you're not prepared, then you know you're gonna be worried. Personally, for me, when I'm out there, I feel better in front of a crowd. But like thinking about it, this mind is a crazy thing. But thinking about it before, I'm just like, oh god, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
What's gonna happen? And then you go out there, and then it goes pretty awesome. So it's just like, and not to say, you know, I'm pretty awesome, but it goes well, you know. And so
No, I get what you're saying. Like, I am afraid to fly.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of airplanes. Now, this is a guy who's gone back and forth to the United Kingdom and Australia and New Zealand, and it's like, I'm afraid. I can't sleep the night before, but I get on a plane and then I'm like, all right, well, what am I afraid of? I'm here. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just gonna go with it, and you know, and full disclosure, never once has I used to get so many frequent flyer miles that I could skip the line and had a platinum whatever, and not once have I sat next to a hot chick on an airplane. It's never happened. So that's why I'm kind of glad that this travel, the ban, hopefully when it's lifted, maybe my luck will increase. But no, you're absolutely right. One of the most motivating things, and a lot of it that happened during the lockdown for like running promos, is, and even back in the day for me, watching people do bad promos kind of motivates you to go, you know what? And you would never go up. Yeah, like, okay, he's definitely reading that, or he's this and that. Yeah. Like, this is what I don't want to sound like. And it's never bashing. I don't publicly bash the guy, but in my head, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't want my promo to sound like that. Because you've seen it. Because when you watch a good promo on TV, that you're like, that one I showed you of Becky Lynch on Sky Sports calling out Sasha Banks. Dude, if you didn't get fired up over that promo, you don't have a pulse. So,
yeah.
So awesome. Sure. I wish I had, you know, you talk about tagging the Undertaker and stuff. I talk about tagging Booker T to find out about Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. I would love to tag somebody like a Becky Lynch on there if I had rights to that promo and go, dude, this is, you know, I want her back.
Yeah,
I just want her back in there because she's just such an old school promo. Maybe not all. Somebody's watching this going, well, I've seen Becky Lynch promos that suck. Well, yeah, we all have them. Everybody's had them. But she was like that SummerSlam 2019. Dude, she was at the top of her game.
Yeah.
And that's a good motivation for anybody watching this. And I realize that we shouldn't be running this entire interview as a professional wrestling class of what to do, because certainly you and I have both said it. We're not the kings of anything, but here are things that we picked up. Or that, you know, we're giving advice out. Yeah. Here are some things. Now, I want to talk about names. How many, a lot of people, when they watch the lockdown sessions, you know, and I've interviewed some very big names. Yeah. And then I interview a lot of people. And I want to keep them equal because I want to bring people that are working hard in independent wrestling to the forefront, get some eyeballs on them. And it's always nice to have Al Snow on here where people are like, I know who he is. Let's watch that interview. But
Yeah.
have you? And people are always curious when I ask an indie star, have you gotten to step into the ring with a few bigger names? And
So yeah, I mean, I guess there's been a few. So I feel like I've done better in my reffing days at that than
oh yeah, well
than
yeah, talk about
the
them.
wrestling. But I know. So I did a match with Rhino. I refereed that. Abyss. I had a referee match with, or I was a referee, and Tommy Dreamer. I ref that match as well. One time. These are all Indiana. I was refereeing in Indiana at the time. But even like I guess bigger like for wrestling wise, I guess a big but like not obviously not the headliners yet, but someday I feel proud that I was able to wrestle with Travis Titan already for the SCW Pro title in my young career. I thought that was very awesome, and then I was able to wrestle the frontman Josh C. Twice already, and that's a guy I really think I'm sure he'll be on here one day, but that's a guy that you just see him, and I mean both of them, they're both walking talents, and they're just phenomenal. So I'm honored to have those guys because I think those guys will make it, a lot sooner than I will had them hopefully make it. But I think those guys will definitely make it, and then I can look back and say, hey, I wrestled those guys. So those are two guys that I'm actually really excited that I wrestled already. I did have, I guess, at AAW, there was kind of a situation. I had a moment, long story short, I had to dress up in a mask and do a little run-in on a Jimmy Jacobs match, and he had the railroad spike, and I got hit with the railroad spike in his boot. But besides that, though, those are the names. I mean, I guess eventually, we'll get the names, the list better, But right now, those are the names that I've worked with. I'm proud of.
Well, Travis Titan's been on the show, and it's a name that if people don't already know him, I'm confident that people will know.
Yeah.
Travis Titan. Frontman Jossie is somebody that you and Renegade pointed out to me at the last show. Dude, as soon as I hang up with you, next week after Thanksgiving, because a lot of these guys I'm losing out to the AEW and WWE. Benjamin Carter agreed to do an interview, and then a week later he gets signed. Alex Zane going to be on the show. He gets signed. I was lucky enough to have Kurt Stallion, Joe Gacy.
And I was booked wrestle Ben Carter too. I was gonna wrestle him, and that week, it was scheduled to go, and I show up, and I know something in the card got changed. We were wrestling at SCW Pro in Iowa, and then Travis Titan, I know he talked about on your thing, or your guys' show, that he had a match with Carter and loved it, and it was phenomenal. So the booking got switched, so Travis ended up wrestling Ben Carter, and I ended up wrestling Corn Boy in the first ever Iowa rounds match. And I was like, what Iowa rounds? So the gimmick was we each have a minute round, and at the end of every round we had to eat an ear of corn. And so, awesome. And it was raw. It was, I guess you would call it raw corn because it wasn't cooked. So I had to, peel it. One round, we start slugging it out. End of one round, I had to eat it. You can't start the second round until you finish the corn. So I ate the corn. Second round, bam, bam, bam. Eat another round of corn. And third round, I think I did lose that match. The third round and stuff, but that was against Corn Boy. So I almost wrestled Ben Carter, but then got switched to that match.
That's a better story.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. I suppose you could have had this awesome classic or the Iowa rounds. So it depends how you look at it, but whatever. I would have been happy with either one, right?
Right. The one called Manders, the Cornbelt Cowboy, is the guy I think of when you talk about that. Ben Carter, we have a very good working relationship with Warrior Wrestling. I remember one of the Stadium Series shows. It was supposed to be Brian Cage against Alex Zane. And then Alex was injured, I think, and couldn't make it a couple times. And then I go to do like a pre-show as Danny is running a Twitter live pre-show, and I find out that Benjamin Carter, who I saw wrestle the Rascals, Benjamin Carter, Alex Zane, and Blake Christian versus the Rascals. I think it was Friday Night Lights, was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then Ben Carter goes, "Oh, I'm taking on Brian Cage tonight." And I'm not really thinking, because I watched the 6-man and they were all phenomenal, flying all over the place. And Cage is this big dude. But I forget, Cage is a big dude who can do some really good work. But that Benjamin Carter, Brian Cage match is one of my favorite matches that I've ever seen live.
Yeah.
It was just, dude, the way their styles complemented, and they weren't exact. It wasn't two high flyers going in. It was a guy who's a high flyer and a guy who's quick and agile for the size. And dude, it was just Warrior Wrestling. Check it out on Fight TV. Check it out on High Spots if you get a chance. Buy the DVD. But it's awesome. And dude, Warrior Wrestling is kind of right in your next neck of the woods there in Chicago Heights. A lot of independent talent on there. I just can't put them over enough, and that's just
absolutely. That's another goal, man. That's on the list. You know, be able to get there, grind out, do everything I can to get there. You know, that's the next chapter up. You know,
and that's one I can't put over enough for the people that come and go, "Hey, I'm here to help set up," especially when they did the Stadium Series outside, and you have no chance of probably getting on the show, even on a dark match. Because even those spots, and they do it right, because these guys are working on putting on the crew, and then a few weeks later or shows later, those guys are in the dark matches. And then I see Travis Titan go from a dark match to having the first match on the show, which is awesome. Which is, dude, you're talking about paying your dues and getting in. But anybody who can get out to Warrior Wrestling, if you're legitimately trained and not afraid of going out there, that's someplace that you and the Renegade go out there, and just, even if you don't get on the show, you're making some hella good contacts. Top Flight was out there. Top Flight just signed with AEW. Ben Carter, when Steve and Warrior Wrestling and Eric, they ran this show and they wiped down the ropes, and how are we going to do this in the middle of the Corona? And then Tony Khan takes a look at that and go, "Here's what we're going to do." I mean, these guys are leading. They are the most important, in my opinion, independent organization out there right now, and because how do I say this? They care about the fans, they care about the talent, they care about wrestling, they care about the product. And there's probably, I'm not saying that any other organization doesn't, but you know, living in a time where they were able to run shows in their state.
Yeah,
there's probably people in New York and stuff that are just as, you know, fantastic, but unfortunately, just with the ordinances, you couldn't run. So, my long-winded rant there over and over. Who are some names? And you can't say the Undertaker, but this is the who's my favorite kid question. Give me some names that before it's all said and done, that you'd like to step in the ring with, maybe some dream matches of yours. And it doesn't matter. It can be somebody like an AJ Styles, so you're like, man, I don't know if I'll ever be ready for that. Or it can be somebody like a Benjamin Carter that's on the indie scene. Because what I like about this question, I get some big names, and I know where your head's at, but I also start hearing about some of these indie guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, I mean, guys I would want to wrestle would definitely be like you said, AJ Styles, man, would be awesome. I just love his all-around ability to do it all, you know. And, you know, like Adam Cole, and I would say another guy would be like Daniel Bryan, would be guys I'd want to wrestle, but a more realistic aspect, and nothing, you know, this is not, with all due respect, you know, just a little bit like a lower than, you know, WWE chain, just more realistic.
Easier to attain. Easy.
Easier, maybe more possibility. You know, I would want to do like a big indie guy is like the Warhorse guy would be really awesome. That'd be awesome. Jake something. He was able to watch some matches of mine at AAW, and give me some good feedback, and I just, respect them a lot. One called Manders, I, talked to him. We're very close, but or I don't want to say very close because maybe he doesn't even care, but he teaches me a lot, man, and he would be a really cool guy to learn from, and you just see him grinding a lot all the time, and you see what he does, and it motivates you to, hey, I could do the same, and I should be able to do the same, if not better, if you got the right mindset. So you see him grinding. I love learning from him. So that'd be awesome guy to wrestle. Even like I don't know, a couple of guys would be like maybe a little out of the realm. Would be like Dalton Castle. My dad loves him a lot. The Ring of Honor. And like Joey Janela. Those are cool guys that like I look up to. Kind of just they remind me of me in ways. They both have long hair and stuff, but like they remind me of like me in ways of how they get to their points. And Dalton Castle has great YouTube channel, and Joey Janela, I think I don't know what interview he had, but hearing about his like times and stuff, obviously he might have been more of a bad kid than I was growing up. I was goody two shoes, but I just hearing his stories, they make me inspired. I'm like, dude, I want to wrestle some of these guys because you see watching them, at like a lower level, and then you see where they get to, and you're like, dude, that's awesome. I love their stories. So those are some guys, I would love to wrestle. One day, I'd love to wrestle all of them, but we'll see what we can get.
Joey Janela, and I've said this before, this is a good example of don't listen to the crowd. Don't listen to the social media. Judge people for yourself, because on the first Friday Night Lights show at Warrior Wrestling, Joey Janela versus Jake something. And to me, I was like, all right, I haven't really watched Joey Janela, but for some reason I was like, whatever. Jake something's a big guy. This match is probably not going to be that great. And I could not have been more wrong. It was such an awesome match. And watching Janela perform, I'm like, well, what was I thinking? And then Joey Janela goes on to, oh God, I can't remember who he fought in the second match here in the Stadium Series. Before the first Stadium Series. Oh, he wrestled Warhorse. Dude, it was phenomenal. And I'm going, dude, I slept on Joey Janela. Dude, I really slept on him. And then the final match was he got attacked. His final match was against Robert Ego Anthony, who, of course, is managed by Frank the Clown. And they're going to have a stadium scramble all over like this match. And I went and talked to Janela beforehand. Like I said, we got some stuff for Twitter for Wrestling Travel.
Yeah.
A professional. Couldn't have been nicer. Yes, I can cut a promo for those guys live blogging tonight. Was that okay? That was good. Okay, could you do this for me? Yep, absolutely. Like, dude.
Yeah.
We're talking about the character.
Yeah.
I hear people like certain podcasts. I'm not going to say the guy's name because he'll just block me on Twitter. But a certain wrestling manager who just rips the heck out of them, and I'm like, dude, that's not what I see. I see a guy who maybe has this character, and maybe it is from watching AEW, and there's only like a 5-10 minute match, and he's got this certain attitude. Because I watched him in AEW. I've been live to AEW shows and watched him, and I was just for whatever reason, I actually publicly apologized on Twitter, just going, I freaking slept on this guy. I'm an idiot. He can do it. He can wrestle. He's never responded because who gives a shit what my opinion, which is the way he should be. My opinion should have never mattered. But
yeah. Those are all guys that I respect a ton, and would be totally honored to wrestle one day, man.
Dude, and everybody rips on Frank the Clown, but I tell you what, nobody's got more heat anywhere than Frank the Clown.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I've seen him. I saw like some highlights from the Warrior Stadium,
dude,
and there was some good stuff. But I don't know if I've seen him in I haven't seen him in person yet.
Dude, you've got to, like I said, get yourself connected with Warrior. Go there and set up a ring, and even if you can set up the ring and just and watch that Chicago crowd boo the hell out of Frank the Clown. Watch them fall in love with Dan the Dad. Watch the Beast Men come out one week and wrestle, and everybody's like, who's this guy? And then 2 weeks later, he's wrestling Rhino, and the crowd is on their feet going. That's what I love. Great professional wrestling and great guys like that getting themselves over using the platform of Warrior Wrestling. Because, dude, and I tell you what, you talked about you're close with the one called Manders. I did the lockdown. I went and sat next to him and the Beast Man during kind of the fan fest. We were shooting the breeze, and two of the nicest guys in the business. I hate to ruin their gimmick. But outside of the ring, great guys.
Yeah, no, that's, and like I say close, you know, but like honestly, Manners is probably like he gets this. He comes in every show, man, and like he'll meet everyone and just have this positive. I feel like he could talk to anyone, and just like his ability to be able to talk to anyone is so cool. And I just think that, like, man, this is what I gotta do, you know. But it depends how you look. Like me, you know, coming up, it's like I don't want to have this. I'm not gonna have this full on conversation with this, you know, legend or something. You know, like you don't know. But he really just feeds off really well, and he's a really good guy.
Well, I want to be respectful of your time and my time, so just a couple more questions. And don't worry, I don't know what a part 3 is called. I know a part 2 is called Electric Boogaloo.
A three-peat?
Maybe a three-peat. So we'll definitely, you know, once we get into 2021, keep track of your career and everything, obviously.
Yeah.
You live close enough together. Sure, I'll see you. Well, what is we've gone all down this road of training and everything, but what is what's the best piece of advice you could give to somebody who is 16 right now and wants to train in professional wrestling?
The best piece would be to know that this is everything you want, to know that there's nothing else in the world that you want to do besides this. And I mean, at the age of 16 per se, maybe, I mean, I would make sure, you know, getting out of high school, that this is all you want to do. And this is truly what you love, because I heard Eminem say this, and like Eminem's big inspiration for me, you know, whatever anyone's opinion on him, but he really hits home for me. And he said, if you just love something enough, and whatever career it is, this is for anything really, but like in professional wrestling, just you have to just do it every day. And like if you love it, you'll be able to do it every day. And just like, you got to understand, there's just legitimately nothing in this world that's going to stop you from doing what you love. And like, you just have to keep doing it, man. And whatever it is, you know, it's just, if you love it, you'll be so happy doing it over and over again. Whether it's freaking, and there's things in it that suck. Driving sucks. Setting up rings suck. But there's aspects that you have to just have this positive outlook, I would say, and know how hard it is going to be to hit the top. You know, like, you're going to be on the road, and I'm seeing this now, and I'm just like, what? Like, this is like, you hear the old timers, hey, you're going to be on the road 300 days a year. You're not going to be with your family, all that, you know. And thankfully, I'm with my family, you know, all the time still. But I'm not that 300 days a year yet, obviously. And just know, like, what the end goal and what you have to, like, what's going to cost you. Because I see now, me hanging with my friends, let's say just hanging out with friends. There's a lot less times nowadays I hang out with my friends because I have work to do. And whether it's watching some matches to learn something, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's just anything, working at the shoot job to make money so you can fill up the tank to go on that show Saturday. It's just, understand, and that's where we'll find out. But like, having those friends, you know, right now, they're really cool. They understand that what I have to do. You know, none of them, I'm not gonna say none of them are as passionate at whatever, but none of them have. I heard big body or power lifters say, and I'm going off here, but big power lifter. I love strongman. His name's Eddie Hall, and he said, there's nothing wrong with having a couple kids and living your normal life. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I want. I want to be the strongest man in the world, and hey, I want to be the best professional wrestler in the world, and you need to have that mindset coming in. If your friends and your family don't understand that, then those aren't the right people to be around and for them to back you up, And so that's what right now my friends understand that, and they respect that I'm not hanging out with them every day because I have things to do. And you got to make sacrifices in this business. So, and with that being said, that young 16-year-old, only 4 years younger than me, but I would say to understand how hard it's going to take. And if you love it, if you truly love it enough, you just do it every single day. Do everything you need. Spend 1 hour a day getting better at it. And it honestly won't even look like work, It won't be work because if you truly love it enough, you'll definitely do it. And it's just I think the mindset's the main thing, man. The mindset of just understanding how hard you have to work, and that's what you have to understand. You gotta be willing to do it. You gotta be willing to do the work if you truly want to make it. But I suppose just find a good wrestling school. I guess you could look at reviews or ask people around. I mean, you're obviously not going to know a whole lot of people in the business right off the gate, but find a good wrestling school, And I swear, once you get that wrestling school, you'll find one contact, at least in this business, And the second you make it one contact, you go to a show, you get another contact. And then this whole world becomes a small world because I'm seeing Mr. Clapper in Wisconsin at a show. And I'm like, dude, I'm in Illinois. But the wrestling world, we're all in this together, man. So, like, even talking to you about knowing people that are, towns away from us, but we know them because that's the same people you're going to see in Iowa. And then Indiana next, Thursday, we're going to see them in friggin' Indiana because that's the grind. And, as many people there is in this world, it's a small community. And, I mean, you got to just be humble, stay hungry. Even though The Rock says that, I don't want to be The Rock, but like it truly, don't even be hungry, be starving because you want to eat and you want to put everything you have to do to make it. So find a good wrestling school. And nowadays we have phones, like you're saying, man, you can always get one contact. Don't be shy because I was always shy, didn't talk to anyone. And, I still am not going to talk to everyone, but hey, there's people that set up their ring right next to you that you have no clue, that drove from 8 hours that you have no clue. Go where they come from. This just happened, a couple of weeks ago. We got 2 contacts as people, and, hey, they know this promotion. Hey, I'll go set up the ring for that promotion. Hey, I know you, Booker. And it's just a snowball effect after that, man. But at the end of the day, I think find a wrestling school. Sign up for a wrestling school that you want to go to. And just be ready to learn, know what it's willing to take. If you're paying your hard-earned money to put in that wrestling school, then know that you are going to stick with. That's what we had one kid at Black and Brave. He's not wrestling now. He probably won't ever, but he spent his hard-earned money to at least finish the class, So I said, hey, you might as well at least finish it. You spent this much money on it. He's like, yeah, you're right. So he finished it out. I'll give him that. But hey, know what a bump, taking your first bump is not gonna feel well, man. It's not gonna feel well at all. It's so unnatural. But know that it's gonna be painful at first. People are gonna try to make you quit. People are gonna try to make you do conditioning drills that just suck. I remember day 0 Black and Brave was just awful. But hey, I look at it now, I'm like, and even Robbie was saying this the other day. He's like, it wasn't that bad. And I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it wasn't bad because they killed us. I don't want to do another one. But, it's just one 3-hour conditioning day, and it's just like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, So everyone's going to try to doubt you. Just find people close that will always be positive to you. If not, if you got people use it as fuel to the fire. And I just have a good attitude with it, you know. Just change your mindset, find that wrestling school, know what's willing to take, and make the contacts is the advice I would give. If it's good or not, take it for what you want. But that's the advice.
You're good. I mean, the fact that people will watch this and go, you know, this kid's goal is to be the best professional wrestler in the world. Screw him, he's an idiot. You know, people always, even your tight circle of friends, a lot of times it is they want you to do good, just not better than them. And that's the way of life. You find very few people that will support you and want you to do well. I find it with the YouTube channel, and I'll call people out on it just in general. I begged all my Facebook people that work with Wrestling Travel, could you please subscribe and please give us a thumbs up? It doesn't take but 30 seconds to do it.
For sure.
But you see like that, you know, people will go to Walmart and spend an arm and a leg, but won't support somebody's local business, even by just retweeting it or sharing it. I find that it's so weird that people just can't. And like I said, even in my own company, I don't find people that will even do it, which I always think is awkward, but to each their own. I don't want to call people out, but it's just, you're on your own. Sometimes people, you'll find a few, when you find those people that support you through thick and thin, hang on to them. And I want to say the best advice that I ever got from Eminem, there was a vomit on his sweater already, Mom's spaghetti. And those words have stuck with me.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. The funny thing, I will little thing, side note, wrestling, I thought about this the other day. It's so weird you brought that up. And but I brought up Eminem. But anyways, senior year, actually it was junior year, regionals for high school wrestling. I will never forget. I get so nervous before my matches, and I remember we had our warm-ups, we had our shorts, and we had our sweaters. And I wasn't Mom's spaghetti, but I legitimately puked on my sweater before my match. And that's kind of stuck with me. I thought about that the other day. And I was like, wow, that actually kind of happened. But I always used to get nervous before matches. And, you know, I remember I heard that HBK, apparently HBK is the one that said it. I don't know. Some guy told me that HBK said it. But he said, if you're not nervous going out there, then you shouldn't be in this, you know. So that's
yeah.
Dude,
so, even on a show where I'm not wrestling like that, a couple weekends ago, I just peed 5 minutes ago, and all of a sudden I gotta pee again. I get the nervous pees.
Oh, that's
but anyway.
Do it. I'm about to say, go on. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying because I don't want this to. Danny's gonna have to cut this into this will be part 7 because it's so long. But I always want to leave with the most important question, and we answered it last time, but I want to answer it again. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and watch part 1. It's actually, as we're filming today, it's going to air today. Danny just texted me and said, hey, how did part 2 go? And I'm like, dude, we're still going. I got interrupted by the plumber. Where can we follow Collateral Damage? Where can we follow Sabotage? You promised me you're going to get better at Twitter, because when your episode airs today, you're going to be tagged on Twitter. So you're going to have to get better at it, but social media for the fans to follow.
Yeah. So, it's Sabotage Sean, Sabotage Sean on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then Collateral Damage is C Damage Inc. INC. Then those are all for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. And then I know you always like to ask about wrestling gear, and so the two things, I gotta get better on my own wrestling website and get better at Twitter. But for our tag team, is Collateral Damage Inc. .bigcartel.com. It's for we got our tag team T-shirts there right now, and hopefully we get a couple new ones coming in soon. But that, and then at local indies, you'll find me with my Sabotage merch.
Get your Sabotage and Collateral Damage merch for the holidays.
Yes.
Get in there. Nothing makes a better Christmas present. And Sabotage, I got to thank you. And I know that you're grinding out there. we've got a lot of years difference between us, but I do consider you a good friend in the business. So I want to thank you for your time. And
thank you.
We look forward to part 3, the 3P.
The 3P. Can't wait, man. Well, thank you for having me. I can't wait, man.